Hey, what's up guys? Hardleg Joe here with your deck profile for the Destiny board stall deck. I'm just going to go through everything in here and then I'll explain how it works. So for monsters, we're running 3 card guard and 3 card D. For spells, we have 3 card of Demise, 3 terraforming, 3 pot of Duality, 3 dark sanctuary, and 1 each of all the letters in Destiny board. On my screen it shows heat. These are actually for death. It spells out along with the D. But I have the OCG artwork, the Japanese artwork. In America, these will spell out final, just so there's no confusion over that. For the traps, we're playing 3 Quaking Mirror Force, 3 Drowning Mirror Force, 2 Jar of Avarice, 1 Skill Drain, 3 Destiny Board, 3 Grand Horn of Heaven, and 3 Solemn Strike. The extra deck is just a toolbox of random stuff. We have just the level 4s and the level 2s, so I run mostly level 4s and a couple level 2s. The only things I would really suggest is Heartland Draco. This can stall really well with Dark Sanctuary. And then 2 Castell and 2 Diamond Direwolf because these are spell trap removal, which we play no spell trap removal. Everything else is just whatever you feel like doing. The side deck I'll go over in a bit. So the point of this deck is to win by the effect of Destiny board. If you're unaware of it, it starts with this trap. You activate it, it's continuous, and then during each of your opponent's end phases, you place 1 Spirit Message card from your hand or deck face up on the field, in order. In their case, they spell out death. Again, in the TCG, it spells out final. If you spell out death, you win the duel. It's an alternate win condition. If Destiny board or any of the Spirit Message cards are destroyed, then you send all of this to the graveyard. So it's really, really fragile. If they have any sort of spell trap removal and they get rid of these, you're just going to have a bad time. There's nothing you can do. And you can't run any spell traps because you need to have all 5 open to spell out the word death. Of course, that was before Dark Sanctuary. This is a newer card that sort of helps out with this. This says if a Spirit Message card would be placed on your field by the effect of Destiny board, you could instead special summon that card as a normal monster. It is unaffected by all card effects except Destiny board, cannot be targeted by attacks, but it does not prevent your opponent from attacking directly. So what that means is you could fill up your monster card zones instead of your spell trap zones, allowing you to play all these traps. Your cards can't be affected by anything. They could be tributed over by kaijus, but other than that, they're pretty much unstoppable. They can't be attacked, but again, if you just have these out, your opponent can attack you directly, which kind of sucks. Fortunately, this has an additional effect that whenever your opponent's monster declares an attack, toss a coin, and if the result is heads, you negate the attack and inflict damage to your opponent equal to half of that monster's attack. So, it's very random, but it helps you to prevent those direct attacks while dealing some burn damage to your opponent. And you probably could make a pretty good burn variant with this, although this is a Patreon-sponsored deck, and the patron specifically requested that I not make this a burn deck. So I went for more of a stall variant. In order to stall, our 4 main cards are Quaking Mirror Force and Drowning Mirror Force. This will of course put all face-up attack position monsters face down permanently, and this will send all of them back to the deck, but this has to be a direct attack. Of course, like with Dark Sanctuary, if you have these pieces out, then you're going to have direct attacks anyway. So both of these are just removing monsters from the field. We've also got Solemn Strike to help remove monsters and stop troublesome monster effects, and Grand Horn of Heaven, which your opponent gets to draw a card, but it'll negate a special summon, and it makes your opponent skip their main phase. They have to go directly into the battle phase or the end phase, which is really helpful for a deck like this that just needs to stall for 5 turns. Once you get Destiny board out, if you could just automatically make them skip, and then that's just another letter that you're getting to add on without any sort of trouble. We've also got, I forgot to mention, the 1 Skill Drain. I usually don't like to play one-ofs, but this could be really, really good in this deck. If you stop all your opponent's effects from being able to activate, then it limits their means to get rid of your Dark Sanctuary or your Destiny board, and it doesn't really affect any of your letters. It doesn't affect card D either. It affects this, but I'll get to that when I get to that. You could just as easily replace this with like a Raigeki or a Torrential Tribute, because again, your cards aren't going to be affected by card effects. So Torrential Tribute won't destroy any of your letters, but it'll get rid of your opponent's field. You can also put out Vanity's Emptiness, although that's going to stop you from special summoning these, but you can still place them in your spell trap zone. So if you have like 1 zone left, this could be useful. But this is sort of like your tech slot. Likewise with Grand Horn of Heaven, with any of these, this deck really comes alive in the side deck because certain things like this is geared up to stop monsters. If you need to stop spell effects, then having things like Anti-Spell Fragrance or Spell Shattering Arrow are going to be better. Trade out those in the second duel, because then you can just shut down pendulums completely, or stop, like, if you're playing against Dark Magicians, you can blow up all their face-up spell trap cards. The remaining cards in here are pretty much just draw power, because again, you need to get to your Destiny board, you need to get to Dark Sanctuary, and you need to get to your negations and your mirror forces as fast as possible. So we're just deck thinning the movie the game here. We got card D, which you could tribute if it was normal summon to draw 2 cards. This is unaffected by skill drain, so pretty nice, especially since we don't really have any other normal summons. We've got Card of Demise, which is drawn until you have 3 cards in your hand. For the rest of this turn, you can't special summon, your opponent takes no damage, and during the end phase, you send the rest of your hand to the graveyard, which most of our stuff is traps, so normally you can activate this, set everything. If you have 1 monster, you can summon it. The only time this becomes a problem is if you draw any of your spirit message pieces, because Destiny board can't get them out of the graveyard, only from your hand or deck. So if you send them to the graveyard, you're going to be in for a little bit of trouble. That's why we play Jar of Avarice. Target 5 cards in your graveyard except for Jar of Avarice, shuffle them in the deck, and draw 1 card. So not only is this letting you reuse some of your bigger traps, but if your Destiny board does get destroyed, if your stuff goes to the graveyard, then you can send the entire board back into your deck and draw a card, which is still pretty useful. We've got Pot of Duality, reveal 3 cards, add 1 of them to your hand. You can't special summon for the rest of the turn. Again, we don't special summon except during our opponent's end phase with Dark Sanctuary, so this doesn't affect us at all. You could choose whichever you need the most, if you need your Destiny board or your Grand Horns or whatever. Finally, we just have Card Guard. When this is normal, a special summon, put a guard counter on it. It gains 300 attack, and once per turn, you can target 1 other face-up card, put the guard counter on it, and if that card would be destroyed, you can destroy the counter instead. There's a lot of different ways to protect Dark Sanctuary and Destiny board since you need both of those. This is the only one I know of that can do both. Basically, I just put in here for versatility. If I need to, I can protect this, or if I have this, I can protect it. If I happen to have one of these in the spell trap zone for whatever reason, then I can put the card guard on that. So there's a lot of different options, plus it gives you the ability to make rank 4s, and that's pretty much the deck. It's just drawing, getting your stall cards, and hopefully building up Destiny board, because once you get those 2, it's just 5 turns, as long as you can keep them alive. The side deck is just other options. I already mentioned most of these are for getting rid of either personal preference or for getting rid of spell trap heavy decks. Skill Prisoner can be another good option instead of Card Guard if you want, especially if you want to run more stuff so that you can set with Card of Demise. This will stop your opponent's monster effects that target, and you can use it up to twice. So this will stop your Destiny board or your Dark Sanctuary from being castelled or hit by Michael or banished or anything like that. Of course, they could still Twin Twister it or Galaxy Cyclone, but if you're playing a monster-heavy deck like Blue Eyes or Light Sworns that uses their monster effects to get rid of cards, this would be a much better choice than Card Guard. It's just you got to worry about those Twin Twisters. And also Aroma Jar, this could be a really good stall card, especially oftentimes if they wipe your Destiny board. This can come down to a game of stalling. If you could stall your opponent out, this really helps. A lot of people don't have the means to get rid of this, or if they do, it's with monster effects that you can stop with your Solemn Strikes and your Grand Horn of Heavens. So being able to put this and just gain a whole bunch of life points is pretty good. I went for more draw power, but you could just as easily swap that out. So there you go. Pretty simple deck, pretty straightforward. Not the most competitive thing, but you know, if you want to try to do Destiny board, if you want to go completely troll, well, there's your chance. Next week, I'll be looking at a different kind of Destiny cards with the Destiny Heroes. Until then, good luck, have fun.